Hey guys, Jonathan Mazet here for JM Sports 100 and the JM Sports Show. How is it going? I'm here to make NFL picks for Week 1 of the 2014 NFL season. We are already 1 and 0 on the week. We did pick Seattle, but we'll get to that in just a second. First of all, I do want to say a couple things. Starting with, for those of you who do not know how I do these picks, I do them two ways. I pick the game straight up and I pick the game against the spread. That's one thing I had to say. And the other thing is this. I've had kind of a rough week. I didn't really get the opportunity to. I feel comfortable with my picks, but I don't didn't really have the opportunity that I usually take to get prepared and do research and stuff to be able to give you more of an analysis and more of a reasoning for my picks. So there isn't going to be much of one, but I'll try to give you the best that I can. All right, like I said, we are 1 0 on the week. We did have Seattle covering the 6 point spread. I do get the spreads from Pigskin Pick'em, the ESPN game. So whenever they lock the spreads for the games, we can make the picks. Those are the spreads we go by. So the spreads may be different wherever you may throw some money into bet games. So that may vary, but we did have Seattle, like we said, covering the 6 point spread over Green Bay. They did that quite easily, 36-16, and so we are now trying to get the spread record out of the hole overall, as we've been pretty bad there as of late, and I am not prepared, and for that I apologize. We are obviously 1 and 0 on the week, on the year, and 594, 366, and 2 is our lifetime record. That's straight up. And then against the spread, 1 and 0 on the week, of course, and 155 and 175 lifetime. We took a rough year against the spread last year and finished like 30 some games below 500 last year. So that explains the rough lifetime record. Okay, we kick things off with the New Orleans Saints and the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons minus a point and a half here. Okay, uh, I was kind of interested that the Falcons were they're getting the spread because they're at home, but I was surprised because the Atlanta Falcons are pretty banged up, and I think that that's going to cause trouble. Plus, first game of the year, I heard it on ESPN radio, and I echo it. First game of the year, you definitely want to go more times than not with the better coach because they've had all offseason to prepare. The better coach is obviously Sean Payton. The Saints have dominated the Falcons in the past. I like the Saints team. I think the Saints are Super Bowl contenders. I am going to go with the Saints to win the game, so obviously have to take them for the spread too. Next up, we have Buffalo and Chicago. The Bears touchdown favorites at home, 7 points, and I'm going with the Bears here. I do think the Bills will be an improved team. I think Sammy Watkins is a huge addition for them if they can if he can find a way to stay healthy. But that's the big thing. Now the Bears defense does scare me a little bit. I think the Bears offense is going to be very potent again this year. The Bears, I think, another Super Bowl contender. But uh, I think the Bears are too much for the Bills right now, especially we don't know the extent of Sammy Watkins' health. I do believe he is expected to play, but still we don't know how healthy those ribs are. Two rib injuries in one preseason. He certainly is not going to be 100%. So I do think the Bears get the win and cover the spread there. Baltimore Ravens are 3 point favorites at home, and I know that some people um, are real, are a little nervous Raven fans not having Ray Rice. I don't think having Ray Rice is going to be that big of a deal. I do like the Bengals, but I prefer Flacco over Andy Dalton as a quarterback, and I prefer the Ravens organization. I do think Cincinnati and Baltimore are going to be in a very tough competitive division this year with Pittsburgh. I don't think Cleveland's going to factor, but I think it will come down to Cincinnati, Baltimore, and Pittsburgh. Obviously, this is a big first game. I think it's going to be a hard fought game, a tough game. I do have the Ravens squeaking one out and covering the 3 point spread. I do think it'll be somewhere around a field goal game. Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh are 6 point favorites at home, and I am taking the 6 points. Cleveland, what can you say? You look at the quarterbacks they have in the preseason. Johnny Manziel didn't play great. and neither did Brian Hoyer. Hoyer is obviously going to get the start. The Browns, I think, are kind of looking at another mess, and I think Brown fans may actually, and I may take some heat for this, but I think Brown fans could actually contribute to that a little bit because Brown fans are so excited to see Johnny Manziel, who, in my personal opinion, is just kind of going to be a dumpster fire in the NFL, kind of like Tim Tebow, but for other reasons. There's no doubt that Manziel does have the ability, but just the attitude and the body. Does he have the body to hold up in the very tough AFC North division? I don't know, but my point is, if Brian Hoyer comes out and he struggles, fans are gonna start buzzing, and they're going to want Johnny Manziel. I don't know if Johnny Manziel gets in this game or not, but I will think Manziel plays this year, which could hurt the Browns in the long run. Meanwhile, I do think just Pittsburgh's a better team. Like I said, I think Pittsburgh is going to be in the AFC North race with the Bengals and the Ravens. I do have Pittsburgh winning the game and covering the spread. Next up, we have Tennessee and Kansas City. Kansas City, 7-point favorites at home. Tough deal here for the Chiefs. No Dwayne Bowe. Dwayne Bowe is out. Okay, Dwayne Bowe is out. Kansas City is not the team that a lot of people, I shouldn't say everybody, a lot of people thought they were when they started out 9-0. They really stumbled down the stretch. I don't think Kansas City made all that great of an improvement in the offseason. I don't think the Kansas City is that great. Tennessee isn't as good either. But when it comes to the spread, I think the points are just too much. I do have Kansas City winning the game. However, I do think Tennessee will prevent them from covering the spread. Next up, we have Oakland and the New York Jets. The Jets are 5-point favorites here. What can you say? The Jets are the Jets. Jets are the Jets. I do believe the Raiders will improve. It looks like the culture in Oakland has definitely started to make a turn. So I do think Oakland will be kind of competitive. I certainly am not saying that they're going to compete with Kansas City and San Diego and Denver in the AFC West. I don't think that's going to happen at all. I do think Oakland, though, will win games. I do actually think that the Jets will win this game. I think they will win it tight, though. I am going with the. I need to make sure that I do know that I am going with Oakland to cover or to keep the Jets from covering the spread. But yes, I am going with the Jets to win. So I'm going with the Jets to win, but not to cover. Next up, we have the Minnesota Vikings and the St. Louis Rams. The Rams are touchdown favorites. To me, this one is simple. The Vikings' defensive line looks good. Okay, they're not extremely sure at quarterback. Obviously, I'm not sold on any of their quarterbacks really. However, one thing I am sold on is Adrian Peterson. Yes, the St. Louis Rams have a very strong defensive line, but here's one thing the St. Louis Rams don't have, and that's really a quarterback either. Sean Hill, uh, a journeyman quarterback taking the place of Sam Bradford. I expect the Vikings to win this game, and so obviously I would need them to keep the Rams from covering the spread. Even if the Vikings don't win this game, I don't think the Rams win by a touchdown. I don't think they have the personnel to do that. New England and the Miami Dolphins. Miami is, I'm sorry, yeah, New England is 4-point favorites in this game, and what can you say? You pretty much know who the winner of that division is going to be. You pretty much know New England is winning that division. I do think Miami will be tough. I do think Miami will be good. But once again, we go back to what I said earlier with picking the better coach. Who would you rather have, Joel Philbin or Bill Belichick? Now later in the year, this may not, don't just sit there and make the debate of who has the better head coach. But in this case, you will because you've had all this time to prepare. Who do you think prepared better? Philbin or Belichick? Now, granted, yes, both teams do have to obviously execute the game plan, but there's a pretty good chance that New England does that and does that well. I do have New England winning the game and covering the spread. Next up, we have Jacksonville and Philadelphia. Philadelphia going to be a lot of fun to watch this year because of one statistic that I've saw and I've heard, and Chip Kelly gets better every year, no matter where he is coaching, whether it be at Oregon or wherever he is coaching his career, the teams progressively get better from year to year, which means the Eagles are getting better. This is the Eagles' chance right here. This is their year to win the division. Let's face it, the Cowboys are basically in rebuilding mode. They lost Sean Lee. That's a that was a big hit for them. The Giants are in rebuilding mode. The Redskins are pretty much in rebuilding mode too. Plus, with the Redskins, who knows about the health of RG3 and whether or not he can hold up. I do think this is Philadelphia's year to shine, and I think they will. A lot of points here, though. Philadelphia is 12-point favorites at home against the Jags, making me a little nervous. I do think the Jags have improved maybe a little. I do think Blake Bortles is going to be a good quarterback, but I don't think he's ready to be thrown in the line of fire yet. I've got the Eagles winning this game and covering the spread. Next up, we have Washington and Houston. Houston is a field goal favorite at home. Boy, you tell me. You tell me. Uh, it seems easy, but I don't necessarily know, like I said, that it is. Houston, quarterback issues, kinda. Uh, I don't feel great at quarterback for Houston, but you know what? I don't feel great at quarterback with Washington either with RG3. Like I said, can he stay healthy? Plus, I don't feel really comfortable with him being chased around by Jadeveon Clowney and J.J. Watt all afternoon long either. Houston hasn't won in a really long time. Whoever loses this game will have the longest losing streak in the NFL. I believe for the Redskins, it would be 9, and I believe it would go to 15 for the Texans. I don't think it gets there. Like I said, the Texans haven't won since week 2 of last season. I do think they win. I think they keep it from going a year in between wins, and I have Houston winning the game and covering the spread. San Francisco and Dallas. San Francisco plus 4.5 for Dallas. So Dallas is just Dallas. It's another year of Cowboys football. What more can you say? And no Sean Lee, that is huge for the Cowboys. Obviously, that is definitely a key weapon that they were looking forward to have back, and it will not happen. San Francisco, I didn't really love what I saw with them in the preseason. Let's face it, personnel-wise, roster-wise, Seattle and uh, Seattle and San Francisco are the best teams in the league. Bar none. Just how it is. It's just the truth. And I think San Francisco does win this game, and I do think obviously with the plus 4.5, the Niners have to win by at least 5, and I think they do that. I honestly don't think it's very pretty. I think the Cowboys get a bit of a beating down in Dallas. Now this one is an interesting one here. Carolina and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay plus 1.5. I'm going with Tampa Bay here. I don't think Tampa Bay's made great improvements yet in the first year of the Lovie Smith regime. I think they will. I think Lovie Smith will have success in Tampa, just like he had success in Chicago. I don't think Carolina's as good, especially in the beginning of the year. They may get better late in the year, but in the beginning of the year, I don't love Carolina, just for obvious reasons that people have said, and I'm not copying anybody when I say this. It's just common sense. Cam Newton, he's had the problem with the injury. He had the surgery in the offseason. He has missed practice time because of injuries and the recovery and all that stuff. So he's missed practice time. Carolina's receivers, who are they? Do any of you know? Yeah, I don't even think Cam Newton really knows. No receivers. A Cam Newton who has missed time with his receivers. There's no way Carolina's going to be in sync here. I don't love Tampa Bay, but I do like them in this situation. I do have actually Tampa Bay winning the game, so obviously that would pretty much negate the spread. Indianapolis and Denver is our Sunday night game. Denver touchdown favorites here in this game. Uh, Second year in a row that these two teams have matched up. I do think Denver wins this game. I don't think they cover the spread. I think 7 points is too much. The Colts are going to be another good team, and definitely another team I think that could even contend for the Super Bowl, and Denver could also contend for going back. I think that, and you may call me crazy for this, I think the one thing that is probably going to keep Denver from winning this game is I'm sorry, from covering the spread. I'm sorry, I do have Denver winning the game. The one thing I'm going to keep, I think Wes Welker. obviously the loss of Wes Welker is huge for them as he goes through his suspension. I do think, like I said, Denver wins. I think it's a tight game though, so I think Denver wins but does not cover. Let's get to the Sunday night games now. New York Giants and the Detroit Lions. Lions are 5-point favorites. The Giants did go 4-0 in the preseason. Don't let that fool you. They weren't that impressive. They're certainly in rebuilding mode. This could be it for Tom Coughlin. I don't love the Lions either. Quite frankly, I think the NFC North comes down to the Bears and the Packers this year. I don't think the Vikings or the Lions are going to have much of a say in it. I do think that the Giants will have what it takes to beat the Lions. So on Sunday night, honestly, I'm going to be completely honest when I say that, gut feeling. And on Monday night rather. And the other Monday night game, there's two of them, of course, on week one, San Diego and Arizona. Quite frankly, I'm fairly comfortable when I say this. Arizona minus 3.5. Arizona is good. Okay, Arizona is really good. Arizona's defense is good. However, they have a suspension on their defense. They have Tyrann Mathieu, who is injured, and then they have Darnell Dockett, who is injured. They have, I believe, a couple more injuries. That defense is just too banged up. And let's face it, whether anybody wants to say it or not, I know a lot of people don't, Philip Rivers is good. Okay, that's all there is to it. Philip Rivers is good. The San Diego offense is good. Mike McCoy has turned that team around really, really quick. I think San Diego gets the win in that game, and you know what? I'll even pick a score. I think San Diego wins a close one, 28-24. The score doesn't mean anything, but that's all right. And we have one more thing that we do that I did decide. I literally just decided that I'm going to bring it back, and that is the lock of the week. Now, here, just to see how we do. Now, here's how the lock of the week works. I will take one game that I'm extremely confident, straight up. One game straight up, no spread, that I'm confident in. When I take that team, win or lose, I cannot use that team for the rest of the year. So, this week, I'm going to Philadelphia. I think that's the best bet. I don't necessarily know if it's the safest because in the NFL these days, I don't know if there's truly a safe bet, but I am going to Philadelphia for my lock of the week as well. All right, guys, that is going to do for me. Don't forget to like the JM Sports Show page on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Links will be in the description. Like I said, I really apologize for the poor quality of this video, guys. Hopefully next week I will have an opportunity to do more research, get stuff together more, and put out a better video. I am Jonathan Slep for JM Sports 100 and the JM Sports Show, and I will see you guys next time.